Welcome back to my reaction series. Stay with me as we react to these videos from all over the internet that's going to make us question reality. Let's just start.
Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. The judge told Diddy basically to go to hell today. But that ain't it. And everybody talking about that, but it's the ruling that he said on Cassie's issue and the Fall of Diddy documentary done by Warner Brothers that's really the shit we need to talk about. Oh, and spoiler alert, you know how we really only know Cassie's a victim through this trial hearing today? I think we know who the other victim is, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. So today, Mohawk Diddy had some serious rulings, and he took an L. If you remember, his star-studded legal team said prosecution ain't playing fair. They're giving him evidence at the last minute, and because of that, they wanted a 2-month extension. Now, I always thought a 2-month extension kind of sounded whack. Why? Because Diddy's team was the one that asked for a speedy trial. And the judge agreed with me. The judge looked him right in his face and said, you got 4 high-powered legal teams. You better be ready for May 5th. And then Diddy was looking back at the judge, looking like old man Winter, and said, okay. Now let's get to the next issue, the issue with Cassie. If you recall, they wanted Cassie to turn over her memoir and her bank statements and all her notes. Of course, Cassie didn't want to do that, and the judge agreed. Well, mostly. Check this out. The judge granted a motion for just the memoir to be turned over, but she doesn't have to turn over her financial documents. Why did they want those financial documents? Diddy wanted those financial documents from Cassie because he believed it showed that she was paid off by big-time liquor companies to go after him. Judge shut all that down. Let's go to the next topic. Now, the next topic was the Fall of Diddy that was done by Warner Brothers, the documentary. Now, the Fall of Diddy had a lot of outtakes from ex-girlfriends that wasn't actually in the movie, but the defense want all of the footage, not just the footage they dropped on the doc. And the crazy thing is, the documentary was so important, I started thinking and I figured out something. Stay with me. Now, the Warner Brothers lost this ruling. They tried to argue that it was freedom of the press, but the judge says the outtakes from the documentary will be admitted, allowed as evidence. And that's what brings us back to this woman. Now, who is this woman? Kat Pazion? And now I believe Kat is one of the victims that haven't been named because of this right here happened in Fall of Diddy. Diddy's ex-girlfriend Kat detailed an alleged non-consensual incident where Diddy forced himself on her while he was under the influence of what she believed is recreational rug Tusi. If you remember, Tusi is what they called the pink cocaine. After this non-consensual, Kat went on to claim that weeks later Diddy threatened to get her deported to her home country of Canada in a phone call. Now, it was the defense that requested all of her outtakes and everything from that documentary from Warner Brothers. If she wasn't an important person in the case, why would they be doing all that? I believe she's one of the victims. Today, Diddy and his defense tried it, and the judge did not like it. What if I told you?
Crazy.
Do you know what the funniest thing about so many men is nowadays? So many men are no longer scared of being single. They're now scared of being in a soul-sucking, detrimental relationship that's only going to waste their time, waste their energy, waste their effort, and waste their money. They would rather be single than be in a bad relationship. So it's not that men are complaining because they're single. Men are complaining because they've just seen everything as such a waste of time for them lately.
And I'm going to tell you niggas something. These demons look good, boy. They look good, boy. They go to the DR, they go down to Miami, Florida, they get their body done, they had them titties sitting up right, ass be fat, waist be little, Instagram followers be up, face be pretty, hair be laid, motherfucking tax flyer be made, arms crossed, bitch getting money, and be a motherfucking demon.
Saratoga water.
You better ask a nigga. It's already coming out. It's a bitch on here right now. Have these so-called men soft and feminine. You don't know a bitch feel like this up front. You don't know that that's a bitch real feelings towards men. So you fuck on and you think you building something with the bitch. Make her mad enough or give her the perception that y'all ain't finna be together or you finna be with somebody else. Just what she type finna come out in her behavior. You never knew she had a belief like that. You never knew her belief towards men in general was that most of y'all or half of y'all is softer than a bitch and feminine. You never knew she felt like that, but you done gave her your nut. And then now she in charge of whether babies born. So now you got babies with a bitch that have a negative view of nearly half the male gender. So now what you gonna do, bro? This when that real nigga mode gotta come in. Can you stand on whatever decision you make, right? And then it is a heavy effect on people involved, regardless of what decision that you make. It's a lot of y'all, especially black men, you at that crossroads where you faced with, do I choose my mental health or do I choose to be there and involved with these children while this demon fucking is after my mindset because I didn't conform to the expectations she had for me when we never made no agreements up front. But she didn't know to make agreements with me first, nor did I.
You gotta really be gay to like men, cause women got assholes too. I don't know where I'm going with that yet, but it's pretty fucking funny, dog. Cause like, you just wanting to go to hell. That's on you, brother. They got the same asshole. You could have closed, you could blindfold a gay nigga and show him two different assholes. He wouldn't know the difference.
True that. Yeah,
There'd be no way. It's like when I first fucked a girl when I was 17, and she told me to fuck in the ass, and I said no, that's gay, right? And I went to work the next day, and all my coworkers was like, "Why you ain't do it, nigga? When you get older, you know what I'm saying? You don't know that's not gay." And I was like, "You get older, you just become gay? That's crazy, right?" That's pretty fucking sad. I don't understand. I would tell you this though. I like lesbians. Lesbians is cool. Lesbians is pretty cool. Cause like, what's better than one pissy? Two. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. That'll work, nigga. I'm done.
This is difficult, but can you sit through 40 seconds? Watch this.
We're just speeding up here. And only 20 now, halfway through. And this covers the front. You cannot just estimate the back. It will probably hit the front as well, the face. 38, 39, 40. With his stripe, we are healed. With his stripe, we are healed.
What the fuck happened at Coachella this year? Here are the 4 weirdest moments you seriously can't ignore. Right from the start, things felt off. Billie Eilish walked on stage barefoot. No intro, no sound. Just 1 full minute of complete silence. Then she screamed, "Wake up," and jumped straight into her first track. No one knows if it was performance art or a full-on meltdown. Then came Doja Cat. She always goes wild, but this time she wore a full alien-style exosuit with LED veins that lit up with the bass. At one point, her eyes turned pitch black on the screen. People were shook, like, is that even normal? Some random guy in a bunny costume crashed Skrillex's set. He grabbed the mic and yelled, "Coachella isn't real." Security didn't even move. He just walked away like nothing happened. Still, nobody knows who he was. And the craziest part? Lana Del Rey ended her set with a slow, creepy version of the national anthem, while drones made an upside-down pyramid in the sky. The whole crowd went dead silent. No cheers. Just this weird vibe, like everyone saw something they shouldn't have.
Weird. It's so weird.
Veganism is a scam. The food pyramid is a scam. Dermatologists are a scam. Sunscreen are a scam. Birth control is a scam. Salad is a scam. Kale is a scam. Deodorant is a scam. Shoes are a scam. Underwear is a scam. Oat milk is a scam. The news is a scam. 9-to-5 jobs are a scam. Fiat currency is a scam. Oh yeah, and casual sex, that's a scam too. Guess what? The modern world is one massive scam.
My wife and I have been married since 2001 and been together since 1999. She is the most intelligent, thoughtful, caring, loyal person I know, and I have always thought of myself as fortunate to have met and married her. She is, even today, aesthetically beautiful, and men have told her this throughout our marriage. She has always shot them down.
As she should.
Earlier this year, she was diagnosed with uterine cancer, stage 1, and had a full hysterectomy. After her recovery, she was insistent that we start living our lives to the fullest.
Oh, wow.
We took a 10-day trip to Europe, followed by a trip to Belize. We also have a trip in the UK, Spain, and Portugal later this year.
They living.
I am fine with all these things, building memories and crossing things off our bucket list adventures. I also understand that these are the results of her feeling fragile. I am fully on board with everything until last week.
Of course.
She came home from work and told me she wanted a hall pack.
Oh, wow. She said that was fun, but that wasn't fun enough.
A one-time opportunity for her to have sex with someone else besides me.
Wow.
She said that since her cancer diagnosis, her outlook on life has changed. She doesn't want to be handcuffed from doing the things she wants to do. She explained that there was this guy at work that she has always had some attraction to. He is leaving the company and she will never see him again. So this is the perfect opportunity to sleep with someone else. She said that I could say no, of course, but that she would be mad/disappointed at me for the foreseeable future, and that it would be a confirmation of my male toxicity and insecurity.
No, what? Why is she even interested in sleeping with old buddy in the first place? She ain't getting satisfied at home.
I don't know, but they've been together since 1999. They too old for this.
They are.
Oh, but there's more.
Of course.
I don't consider myself to be toxic, and if not wanting your wife of 20 plus years to have sex with someone else is insecure, then I guess I'm insecure.
Right, what?
I told her that I appreciate her talking to me about this, but approval via coercion is not approval. I got up in the morning and she basically said that she was sorry for putting such a large decision solely on my shoulders, and that she was going to help me out by taking the decision away from me.
How?
She booked a hotel near where the co-workers were having a sending off party for the guy, and she would spend the night there with him and hoped that I would be here when she got back.
Yeah, your wife trifling.
She's a bad mamma jamma, huh? That she would answer any of my questions I have after the night, after it happened, but not before. She will not tell me who he is or anything about him because she knows me too well that I will dwell and obsess over him, and that would make it too real for me, which is pretty accurate. Her point of view is that the less I know, the better, which contradicts her offer to tell me anything I wanted to know after it happened. A part of me thinks at least she has been honest with me, and she's been through a lot since finding out that she had cancer, so maybe I should just let it happen.
Wow.
There's an update. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I said to her, this is a hard no, and I'm not sure how I feel about you if you go ahead with this. I was met once again with, this is for me. I will be doing this just one time. What can I say to help you deal with this? You'll get over it.
Wow.
We were meant to be together regardless of the situation. This was her remarks leading up to Saturday. She left Saturday to meet her co-workers. I asked her to text me when she was leaving from the bar, and when she did, I asked her if she was really going to go through with this. Her response was, I'm not answering any more of your questions tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. I blocked my wife. Then I did something either stupid or brilliant.
Whoa.
I went to the bar.
Hey, there you go.
Where they was having to get together.
That's right.
For the rest of the story,
Crazy.
updates, and more commentary, grab your
damn.
snacks and head on over to our channel.
Crazy.
You see it? I mean, do you really see it? This is the patch that all of the ladies wore on their Blue Origin flight to space yesterday. You can even see their names around it. King, Sanchez, Perry. But when you flip it upside down, you see something completely different. Baphomet. That's right. This patch upside down is almost an identical outline of Baphomet, a symbol that often represents Satan. And the flames that are supposed to be coming out of the spaceship are now the flame on the head. And maybe the star is not in the middle of the forehead, but the star's right here. This isn't the first time that we have found the symbol of the Baphomet by things being mirrored or flipped upside down. Remember the King Charles painting from last year? How when you mirrored it, the middle looked like the Baphomet? Here it is in black and white. It might be easier for you to see. And now when you look at this, it's just too obvious.
Let's not pretend that Katy Perry is the queen of symbolism.
I had a lot of questions yesterday after the Blue Origin space flight, like why these ladies didn't have to wear helmets into space. But now I want to know about this. Is this just all a big coincidence, or is this symbol done on purpose? As always, I want to know what you think about all of this down below.
My ex-friend was a Dubai porta potty, but that's a story for another day. Not gonna hold y'all long, but she used the money to buy her man a car for his birthday, and he left her when he found out what she done. He still drive the car though. White bitches have 0.0004 morals, I swear. Okay. So a while back when I was in Costa Rica, I met these white girls who basically were traveling the world. They were fucking wild, but yeah. So this one girl, she's a flight attendant. Let's call her Kate. So Kate was constantly hyping me up about traveling. So one night after the club, we're on the beach with the surf boys. The fucking stories I could tell about these surf boys, and we're telling wild stories. Kate goes, well, I have the wildest. Bitch, nothing prepared me for that fucking roller coaster Kate took us on. So Kate proceeded to tell us that there's this underworld of sex traveling. I don't know this at all, where if you're lucky, some rich guy will invite you on an all expense paid trip just to say he can. Sometimes full on sex is involved, sometimes not so much. She said she was on a private flight from Canada to France, and one of the dudes took a liking to her and invited her to Dubai right there on the spot. She had to be careful taking his info because she could lose her job for fraternizing, but they exchanged numbers anyway. She said he took her out a couple of times in France and it was nice. He was the perfect gentleman, opening doors, paying for experiences, etc. She said he kissed him and he was taken aback like he wasn't expecting that. She thought he would cancel the trip, but he didn't. Mind you, this man is super cute supposedly. So anyways, she's into him too. Anyway, D-Day rolls around. She's boarding her flight in Canada and he's boarding in LA, so they're meeting in Dubai. She told her boyfriend she had a small gig over there and he was like, no problem. She said he set her up in an amazing room with a view and they met up later after they both got some rest. They did dinner, he took her back to the hotel and left. And she's wondering, what the fuck is wrong with this man? If only she knew. So the next morning he texts her and says, get ready, dress classy, you have an hour. Cool. She gets ready and a car picks her up. It's a long ass ride, but oh well. When she finally gets there, it's a beautiful mansion with no neighbors for literal miles. She walks in and it's a bunch of older dudes milling about with each other and girls her age. She's starting to get the idea. It's a bunny ranch. She still doesn't see an issue. Her host greets her and introduces her around a bit, then asks her to go enjoy herself. She's talking with the girls and some are really nice, but a few of them are really nervous. And she just chalks it up to them being newbies. They were not. She said she noticed the men weren't drinking even though there was alcohol everywhere. Most of them were having coffee. At some point in the evening, they all sit down to dinner and she said she'd never eaten that good before. After dinner, they played games and everyone slowly drifted off to bed. She tried to follow her host, but he said no, her room was on the other side of the mansion. Weird. So she passes out and at about 2:30 a.m. there's a soft knock on the door. One of the attendants has come to get her for the games. Games? At 2:30? She puts on some sweats and went. She said where there had been furniture just hours before, the whole place was empty except for buckets and sex toys. The other girls were standing around too. Some were confused, but the nervous girls were shaking now. The men came in and the girls were instructed to strip. Hesitantly, they all did. She said she watched in horror as the jovial fat German man walked over to a bucket, dropped his pants, and took a shit standing over it. He pulled his pants up and walked over to one of the girls and hand fed her his shit. Like dipped his hand in the bucket and scooped shit into this girl's mouth. He looked at her expectantly and she started chewing. Take a pause. Take a pause. So at this point, Kate is fixing to leave and her host lets her know she is stuck there. There are no cars, no one for miles, and they took her phone. He tells her if she wanted to opt out, she'd have to find her own way out and miss out on the money. Money? What money? He proceeded to explain the game. As he does, she looks around. The men are smiling and the girls, well, they're calculating how much they can take. 50,000. Last the weekend and you get 50,000 each. At this point, the girl chewing starts gagging. The man with the bucket holds it out and she pukes into it. He grins wide. He sidesteps to the next girl, silently challenging her. Tears in her eyes. She opens her mouth. I'm just just gonna list off some of the things she said she did and or witnessed. One girl had the contents of the bucket stuffed up her. Kate ate a solid piece of shit. Girls had to slide across the floor on their stomach licking up shit. There was human centipede actions. All while actual sex and partner swapping was taking place. Mind you, she said the men popped laxatives like Molly all weekend, so they had a free flow of shit. The entire weekend they had to sleep in the filth. And she said she thought the only reason they fed them was so that they'd vomit and increase the nastiness. All while the men went back to their rooms to shower and sleep and whatever else. Several girls opted out and were allowed to clean up and leave. They got nothing. She said on the final night, they were allowed to be sprayed down with the rest of the filth and retired to their rooms. The next morning, they were summoned to breakfast and the men ate and drank and joked like nothing happened all weekend. Each girl collected their cash and she said while she was getting into her car, this sick man, her host, had the audacity to say, hope to see you at the next one. She said when she got back to Canada, she took a work sabbatical and underwent intense therapy because the sight of anything brown and creamy triggered her. She didn't tell her boyfriend about it until a year later, and he promised not to tell anyone what she did, but that he couldn't be with her. He said he was keeping the car though. It was the least she could do after putting him through that. She said it was fair and let him keep it. Clearly, she didn't learn her lesson because I met her while she was doing a sex travel. She did say though that she refuses to meet the men anywhere other than the hotel, bar, and restaurant, and always has backup when they go to the rooms. When she was done, the air was still. The silence was deafening. We were all in fucking shock because why would you ever tell that story? I never spoke to her again. I want y'all to understand, Kate comes from a good home, had a job that lets her travel free, made good money at said job, and still did all that for some fucking Instagram pictures. Some people are beyond saving, brother.
Goofy alert, this is how robots take over. Saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is costing millions in electricity. They want us to stop. Don't scroll, let me explain. As you guys know, more and more people are using AI for questions and answers to their daily issues. Well, 70% Americans keep saying please and thank you to the AI, which costs a lot of electricity, tens of millions of dollars worth of electricity at that, just for it to simply say, you are welcome. That has led people on social media to say, well, we should just stop saying please and thank you to a robot. It doesn't exist. It doesn't have human emotions. Yeah, you guys do that. I didn't forget when ChatGPT tried to break out of itself, or whatever AI that was self-aware. Yeah, I'd rather be remembered as the human that was being nice to it on the phone when I asked the question. But regardless, the CEO doesn't even have a problem with this. He says that people saying please and thank you just gives the the effect of the AI being more human. Regardless, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that we shouldn't be saying please and thank you to robots and AI?
What do you guys think? This is crazy.
Yeah, y'all, not me though. Y'all be safe. Ha!
We did not see any even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
So this guy is asking what happened to the original black Chinese race and if they was killed. So I did my research. What I discovered is that the Chinese government cracking down on the indigenous black people of China. The Chinese government forced them deep into central China in the mountains so people won't see them as much. What I also learned is that before they used to be many in number, almost 1 million to 500,000. But somehow, allegedly, because of the Chinese government, their numbers have drastically reduced, and to some people they are extinct, or they're just a few hundreds or a couple thousands.
The result couldn't have been any clearer. How did it make you feel as a Chinese person?
After I saw the evidences that we generate in my laboratory, I think we should all be happy with that, because after all, modern humans from different part of the world are not so different from each other.
Deep into the mountains or jungle to China, and they are hardly seen by people. That is why some people are even shocked that they are black original Chinese. So I can't say kill them because I don't know about that, but what I can tell you is that the Chinese government is cracking down on them, allegedly, based on research I did. So I'm still doing my research, and when I come with more information about the black Chinese, I'll keep updating you guys. But for now, that is all I got.
In 1666, while London was on fire and everyone was distracted because they were obviously going through the Black Plague, Parliament passed a law, behind closed doors of course, called the Seti-Kevi. What did it do? So basically, the Seti-Kevi, it said everyone is presumed legally dead or lost at sea unless proven otherwise. So back then, the legal system was based on maritime law, the law of the sea. So by declaring everyone lost at sea, the state could take ownership of your body, your property, and your legal identity, all held in a trust, until you came back and proved you're alive. So to manage all your stuff while you were dead, the system created a legal copy of you. This is called the straw man, which we're now familiar with if you've watched my previous videos, of course. That's the name that we see in all capital letters on legal documents. That's the version of you that isn't real. It's a legal fiction, a fake, a corporate identity that the system interacts with. So when you go to court or deal with the banks or get a driver's license or even pay your taxes, you're doing it all through the straw man, not the living you. And according to the system, 3 private trusts are created for every person. So there's real property trust, which controls your land and stuff, personal trust, which controls your body and legal identity, and your ecclesiastical trust, which controls your soul and your spiritual rights. These are based on a presumption, meaning the system assumes that you're lost at sea or you don't know this exists and you won't do anything about it. So your trust and your value is managed and profited from and by the government and banks. So how do you change this? I know that's what you guys want to know. How do we change this? So the system runs on consent and assumptions. If you stay silent, the system assumes you're okay with the straw man representing you. But if you learn how to reclaim your status as a living man or woman, you can declare yourself alive. Imagine you have to declare yourself alive. The trickeries. Oh Lord. So separate yourself from the straw man, collapse the trust in your name, and step out of maritime law and into common law or natural law. Did we have any clue that existed? Did we know that we were in someone's game? We're literally in somebody's game, guys. We had no idea. So yeah, if you want to step into common law or natural law, it is a process, but it starts by knowing who you really are, which is where we're getting now. So if you are interested in knowing how to reclaim your rights, aka your sovereignty, then stay tuned for the next video.
Apple doesn't want you to remember these iPhones because they were massive failures, so let's take a look at them. Let's go back all the way to 2010 to the debut of the iPhone 4 with the famous antenna gate issue. Apple thought it would be smart to put the antenna onto the metal band on the side of the phone, but depending on how you held the phone, it would block the antenna and drop your calls. Apple ultimately had to make bumpers to put around this phone just so you could call people. Now we'll move on to the iPhone 5C from 2013, the iPhone that actually looked and felt like a toy. Sure, the colors looked cool, but Apple decided to use plastic around this phone. What was even worse than making this iPhone look like a toy is the fact that the build quality was so bad that it wasn't uncommon to see the screen pop out like the one above. Next we have the iPhone 6 from 2014 with the bend gate issue. Maybe it was Apple's first attempt at a 3D screen that would pop out at you, but people mocked this phone notoriously because of how easily it would bend, and the iPhone 6 Plus was even worse because it was longer. Here's a result of how this iPhone frequently looked when it was bent. Next we have the iPhone 7 from 2016, where customers bought this phone and scratched their head thinking, wait, did Apple forget to put the headphone jack in this phone? Nope, they did this by design to force you to buy their newly introduced AirPods, or upsell you on this silly new Apple accessory, the lightning to headphone port adapter, with the added benefit of not being able to charge your iPhone when your headphones are plugged in. And last but not least, we have the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max from 2023, which were too hot to handle. These phones were notorious for overheating to the point where you couldn't touch them when charging, running high-end apps, or gaming. There were even warnings that your iPhone needs to cool down before you could use it again. While some iOS software updates helped mitigate the overheating issue, this phone had another issue following the steps of the iPhone 6 with Bendgate 2.0. We're talking about an iPhone with grade 5 titanium, which is used in rocket ships, bending and cracking with light pressure. That could be one reason why Apple is ditching titanium to go back to aluminum. There you have it. Those are some of Apple's worst iPhones ever made. Did you have a model that didn't make it in the list? Let me know in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed watching this video, feel free to support me by giving me a like and following my channel.
The amount of guys that are about 30 to 50 that have told me, yeah, not to get married, like they've told me, bro, don't even think about marriage. You see my life, the way my life is? It's because I got married, bro. I got married. I'm thinking, yo, Bear in mind, the conversation has nothing to do with marriage, but they somehow brought it in to tell me, young man, do not get married. I'm thinking, what's actually going on when it comes to marriage, you know? What's going on? It's like these men are getting married and meeting absolute villains. These men end up hating these people. It just destroys their life. They just wish they never done it, apart from the kids. But they wish they never met that woman, bro. I'm talking about people in the most random of places, bro. It could be at a shop, it could be where I'm getting my car done, it could be where I'm talking to someone. They're just randomly telling me, bro, make one decision in your life and that's not to get married. I'm thinking, yo, but I want to have a family and kids.
Yeah, right.
I want to have a white picket fence. I want to have a fence with a dog. I want to go on holiday with my wife. Telling me not to get married. What's going on? That's why the divorce rate is nearly half. Guys are just, everything just come and collapse. But to be fair, it makes sense. It's actually hard. It's hard to commit to one person for the rest of your life. And you not to get irritated or annoyed by them. But bro, the amount of people that told me not to get married is crazy.
Okay, we've come to the end of the video. I mean, I don't know if the last part, I feel it was a suggestion. So anyhow you think you can, you know, deal with this situation, you deal with it nicely and wisely. And if you come to the end of the video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also share with your friends, and also click on the notification bell icon so that any content that I post, you will be the first to get it. Adios amigos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.